Some people say that I exaggerate my fandom of Paige. So I'm prepared to make all of you a deal here and now tonight. I will stop loving Paige the minute Paige stops being fucking awesome. Oh yes. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and here is your post-Night of Champions, September, I think, 21st, Raw review, and this was a fun show, guys. There was some dead weight on the show. We're going to talk about that. There were some awesome moments, and we're going to talk about that. We're getting ready for two shows at once, really. We're getting ready for that Brock Lesnar Highway to Hell, whatever it is, Go to Hell tour, thing that they're doing at Madison Square Garden, where he's going to face the Big Show, and we're getting ready for Hell in the Cell, where he's going to fight the Undertaker. So we're seeing a lot more Brock Lesnar than we did in the past, and it's all good. So we're preparing for two shows, and that's all good. So what did we start off Raw with? Oh my god, it's Raw. They do the same thing every week. It's going to be Cena, Rollins, or the Authority, except it's the Wyatt family. Oh yes. The Wyatt family comes out. Wyatt says, Roman, I tried to warn you. You can't outrun your destiny. I brought an idol like you to your knees, and I told you, whoever you bring, whether it's you, whether it's Dean, whether it's Jericho, whether it's whoever, they all fall down. Roman comes out. Roman comes out by himself. No Ambrose, no Jericho. There was no Jericho on the show. I have some ranting to do about the fans and about a lot of things having to do with Night of Champions. That's going to come in another video, I think. All things being equal, my buddy OK Fabe is going to help me with a little secret or a little surprise that I'm potentially going to be putting out for you guys tomorrow night. No promises yet, but if I can get this up and off the ground, it should be a lot of fun. No more details for now. So I won't talk about what I think of the fans of Night of Champions. I don't think say what I think about all the entitled fucking marks on Twitter during Night of Champions, but I will say the clusterfuck main event that we got at Night of Champions was karma for your entitled, unappreciative asses. Oh, and fuck yes. But anyways, Roman comes out with no Ambrose, with no Jericho, with no Jimmy Uso, no The Rock, because apparently some people thought The Rock was coming back. Roman by himself, he says, we started this, just me and you. Let's finish it, just me and you. Send these two away. You're scared to go one-on-one with me. That's what you're telling these people. I don't even want a match. I just want to fight. The other two leave momentarily. There's a brawl. Superman punch, side slam, 10 corner clotheslines by Roman Reigns, a boot by Wyatt, a mudhole stomp by Roman Reigns. It's cool seeing a mudhole stomp by a face, because since Austin, it's really only been heels that have done it, and the New Day, which we will talk about later on, have that cool rotating mudhole stomp that they do. The backup comes back. Obviously, Ambrose joins the fray. Several suicide dives by Ambrose on Strowman is just hilarious, because he's got that Ziggler ragdoll ability to him, where he comes out suicide dive style and hits Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman just sits there and he's like, and? It's great. 3-on-2 odds eventually takes over, and the Wyatts own Ambrose and Roman for what seems like an uncomfortable amount of time, until Orton joins the fray. He gets a bit of everybody. The faces stand tall, and that ends the segment. Now, you would predict, you know, Teddy Long style, holla holla, playa, tag team match, playa, but we didn't get that tonight. I'm assuming we're going to get that at Madison Square Garden, or at Hell in the Cell. I wouldn't mind the Shield minus Seth Rollins plus Randy Orton versus this new and improved Wyatt family in a Hell in the Cell match. I think it could be kind of cool. Do you remember Rhodes and DiBiase versus DX in a tag team Hell in the Cell match? If they could make that somewhat watchable, I think these guys, and the dynamic that they have, the history they have with Randy Orton, this new monster Strowman, could have a cool 3-on-3 Hell in a Cell match. But that's just my take. That's my opinion for the day. We didn't get any announcements like that. We did, however, cut immediately away from that to the back, where Rollins comes into the office to find Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and finds, after everything that happened last night, Corporate Kane, who is a little relentlessly happy. relentlessly happy with his suit and his... Oh my god. It was so comical. It was great. But he says, what the hell are you doing here after what you did to me at Night of Champions? And this is the cool part. This is the trend that went throughout the night. And I'm sorry, guys. As usual, my sinuses are fucked, and it is, in fact, ridiculous o'clock in the morning. But this is the cool thing that kind of went throughout the night, and I kind of hope it goes on going forwards. Corporate Kane has no clue what Rollins is talking about. It's great, but he does say he's here to fulfill his obligations as the director of operations. He came to sign some paperwork and to give Rollins his rematch with Cena tonight for the United States Championship. It's all good, and Seth Rollins is very off-put, and he says, where's Triple H? And Stephanie McMahon says, well, they're coming in later, and he goes to find them, you know, the kid going to find mommy and daddy, etc. Neville and the Lucha Dragons versus the Cosmic Wasteland rematch from last night. I don't mind this, because this was on the pre-show. A lot of people have that mentality of fuck the pre-show. And I get why, because you get one, like, maybe 5-10 minute match in an hour-long pre-show, but, you know, sometimes they're pretty good, and this match was pretty good. I will say it was better last night. Neville and the Lucha Dragons versus Cosmic Wasteland, which is, of course, Connor, Victor, and Stardust. Connor and Stardust start out. Connor works the arm, which is great. Sin Cara hits a pendulum kick and slips off the ropes. Mudhole stomps by Victor and by Stardust. Uppercuts by Victor and a headlock by Connor. Mudhole by Connor, and a choke and headbutts. Crazy, crazy kicks by Neville, and a boot to Stardust. Disaster kick off the apron by Stardust as we go to commercial break. Slaps and stomps to Neville by Stardust. Triple team by Cosmic Wasteland. Connor rides a headlock. Double team by the Ascension, so Cosmic Wasteland minus Stardust. And a fist drop by, like, old school Jerry Lawler style, one strap down fist drop by Victor makes me smile. Victor boots Neville hard, 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 and boots are fun, are they not? Stardust works on the arm, which is a story that we've been telling throughout the whole night. And then Stardust does a thing here. I don't know how many of you would know or would recollect, Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero did it a lot. The Gory Bomb, which is basically like a backwards face-first suplex, but it started off in the position of the Gory Special, which is where you don't drop them for the bomb, and it's just a really, really awkward-looking submission move. Well, Stardust locks in a submission that was basically an upside-down Gory Special. Go back and watch it if you don't know what I'm talking about, obviously. Neville and Stardust trade elbows, and Stardust eats turnbuckle, hot tag, and craziness from Kalisto. Suicide dive by Sin Cara, SDS by Kalisto, and Neville and the Dragons get the win. Nothing really wrong with this at all. I wouldn't actually mind, and I said this on Twitter last night during Night of Champions, I wouldn't mind seeing Cosmic Wasteland versus the Wyatt family at some point. I don't even think you'd have to turn either of them face. Heel versus heel would be great. Rollins complains about Kane to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. They try to basically calm him down, and they act like they didn't really know that Kane was coming tonight. They're kind of thrown off by it too. They say, okay, go get ready for your match. So we continue this trend of Seth Rollins, while he is the Authority's chosen guy, really, really not getting any help from the Authority. Sorry, I don't have much of a voice. If I'm quieter than usual, that is why. We recap Ryback versus Owens from Night of Champions. We have Ryback versus Bo Dallas, which makes me laugh on its face. But Owens is on calm. Owens makes this segment, really, because the match between Ryback and Bo Dallas is not much. Dallas taunts Ryback. He says, you believed that you could beat Owens, and you believed wrong, pretty much. And then he talks up Owens at the commentator table, and Owens kind of gives him a tip to the cap, and like I say, Owens on commentary is fucking great. Ryback brawls and beats down Dallas for a while. Ryback is distracted, and Dallas puts a couple of cheap shots together to the point where he can actually ride a headlock. Ryback eventually gets out, gorilla press throw, because it wasn't a slam. It wasn't the gorilla press and the drop like somebody like Apollo Crews does. He gorilla presses him and tosses him across the ring, which, you know, it's Ryback. He's impressive, but it's very hit or miss whether you give a shit. I liked this match at Night of Champions. I'll get into that at another time, but this is just, it's Bo Dallas. He comes out, he's obnoxious, he gets his ass kicked. That's just how it goes. Meat hook, shell shock, and Ryback gets the win. Speaking of Bo Dallas getting his ass handed to him, Owens beats down Ryback after the match, tries for the pop-up powerbomb, misses, escapes the shell shock, and bails. So we're going to continue this, as I say, either into the Madison Square Garden special or into the Elimination Chamber. Or not Elimination Chamber, Hell in the Cell. This match although I like it, and although I won't mind a rematch, this match doesn't need to be in a Hell in the Cell. It really, really doesn't. We recap. Here's the highlight of the night. Oh, and I sound like shit, so I'm not even going to be half as excited as I want to sound. Ric Flair comes out, talks about how he's a proud papa, talks about all the special moments in his life, but nothing was as special as watching his daughter win her first title in the WWE last night at Night of Champions. My issues with this, again, this is not the time or the place. Congratulations to Charlotte. I am happy that she's found success. I have one small nitpick with that match, and it's the same nitpick that I have with this match coming up in a little bit, but I will talk about that when the time comes. He introduces Charlotte, which is strange because you hear the initial Ric Flair music, and then you hear Charlotte's music, and it's basically all but a little remixing. You're hearing the same music twice, are you not? Charlotte comes out. I can speak, I swear. Her and her dad do a tandem family woo thing. She gives credit to her dad. She talks about how they like to cry a lot, and they do. They both cry. Ric Flair, you can tell, is proud of his daughter. It's all good. Tributes to her dad, and then she has great things to say about PCB. Paige, as if you flip the heel light switch, grabs the microphone and says, "It wasn't you that made this possible. Let's talk about who really made this possible. I made this possible, and I'm tired of all of this propaganda and all of this celebrating because it's all very patronizing. This isn't a Hall of Fame induction. I won that belt on my first day, and it's taken you 2 months. I won the belt. Nikki's going to win that belt back from you because she's going to invoke her rematch clause. She's going to bring her, I think she says Redneck's bumpkin sister, whatever, and Alicia Fox, the tag along. You are just a placeholder until she grabs that belt. Again, there is no Divas Revolution. Becky will never be Divas champion. She's the least relevant of anybody here. Team Bad are all flash, no substance. Lana and Summer Rae are just trying to see who they want to climb all over next. By the way, does Natty even work here anymore? We know why the Bellas are where they are, and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your old man. Drops the mic and leaves. Pipe bomb personified, as if AJ Lee 2.0 in the flesh. This is the Paige I've been waiting for. Oh yes, but then, to make it even better, Team Bella comes out, and Paige, Nikki says, well, Paige, when she was talking about me, I know she meant to say that I was a hard-working, deserving champion. She must have just said it wrong, but she's just a trashy woman anyway, and that's why she left. Poor Charlotte, when you succeed, they all leave you, just like they all left me, and you won't be able to handle it. I handled it when I was the champion, when I was the record-breaking champion, because I was woman enough to do so. Do you think it gets any easier? You're about to lose to my sister tonight, and you're going to lose to me whenever we have our rematch. So, the next match we have is Brie versus Charlotte. Now, here's my problem, and this is a little preview of what I'm going to say in a future video. I have, and listen to me very carefully, I am begging you to not hear what you want to hear and listen to what I'm actually saying. Charlotte is a fantastic talent. She put on a hell of a show with Nikki last night at Night of Champions. She did, and I'm not going to take any of that away from her at all. I don't mind that she won. I really don't. I don't like the ending. Because Charlotte pulled a little bit of a Daniel Bryan in that match. In that, the last couple of matches that Bryan had before he got injured again, everybody was going after his head, everybody was going after his neck. Solidly, throughout the entire match, you had guys like, I don't even know, Sheamus, the Wyatts, anybody else that was heel at the time, I don't even remember. They would concentrate great psychology on Daniel Bryan's neck, and he would come back with the diving headbutt and all these other things to the head, and like I say, put on a great match, but no sell the psychology, because we don't always get great psychology in wrestling. We don't always get, well thought out, well choreographed, two dance partners coming together for a great dance type of matches. When you get great ring psychology and you throw it out, it bothers me. If you win with the headbutt, after you've had your head and neck worked on the whole match. If you win and something you use along the way is a suicide dive after you've had your head and neck worked on the whole match, it takes away from the match. Take this to last night, take this to Charlotte versus Nikki. Charlotte sold her leg through the whole match, and she did it beautifully. She did it so beautifully that I thought at the beginning of the match that she had legitimately tweaked her leg. I will give her full marks, full credit for that. I will. Nikki, although nobody out there, I know, in this little box right here, you are watching me right now. My viewers are great. My viewers are not as bitter fucks that some people are. But I know there's not very many people that are going to give Nikki Bella the credit she deserved for the match that she had last night at Night of Champions. I get that. But she put on great. She did everything to Charlotte's leg that you possibly could. I particularly like suplexes into the ropes leg first. There's the typical things, you know, grapevining in the ropes and different kinds of locks. I like the single leg crab with the shin across the back of the head so you really can't go anywhere. There was a lot of good stuff. Now, Charlotte mounted some offense. She got some punches in. She got some knee drops in with the good leg. That's fine. If she had won with the spear and she had pushed off with her good leg to do the spear, I wouldn't have had a problem. If she had, what the hell was the move that she used in NXT? If she had used the that flip over move when she was a heel, it was called Bow Down to the King. I think when she became face, it became Natural Selection. Am I wrong? Somebody correct me down in the box. Because even that, you know, it's a jumping move. You could play it off like she pushed off on her good leg, but she used the figure 8, and I get it. Her daddy's in the audience. He uses the figure 4. That's why she uses the figure 8. I understand why. From a storytelling point of view, I really do get it, guys. Please don't get that I don't. But the figure 4, you use both of your legs, and to have as much done to her leg, to sell everything that she had happen to her leg up until that point, for Nikki to do the great job that she did working on that leg the whole match. They told a great story, and they fucked it up at the end. I don't like that. Now, everybody's going to say that why didn't I complain about the psychology with the Owens Ryback match, because Owens worked the arm the whole match and he still got him up for the shell shock. First off, shell shock, really you're lifting somebody with your shoulders, with your torso, whatever. Yeah, your arm helps, and that's fine, but you'll notice that Ryback leaned into it and did the scoop more with his shoulders than with his arm. Number 1. Number 2, he didn't win the match with the shell shock. Number 3, he never successfully hit the shell shock. Number 4, Owens still won. He benefited from the psychology going throughout the entire match. This, and I will say it, Ryback Owens was good. Charlotte versus Nikki was great until they fucked it up at the end. Fantastic match. Well-deserving new champion. Congratulations to Charlotte. It's just one little thing that just sticks in my side like a thorn because it could have been fantastic. It's that, you know, I'm not saying it was a 5-star match, but if it was a 5-star match, it knocks it down to a 4.5. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. And what bothers me, I would rather see a bad match. I would rather see a bad match than something so good ruined by such a stupid decision. I'm sorry, that's not going to be popular. And I'm sorry, all the hate down in the comment section below, it's going to be worse than when I told the truth about Naomi. But it's true. If you take your blinders off, if you take your NXT fandom glasses off, if you stop looking at it through yellow lenses, and if you stop looking at it as Charlotte Flair is supposed to be this big-ass godsend to the Divas division, and look at it strictly from a storytelling perspective and what story they were telling in that ring, both of those girls telling that great story in that ring, they ripped the last page out of the book, and that pisses me off. Because the match was so good, and because it could have been so great. That's my rant on that. But Brie versus Charlotte is very similar. Punches, headlocks, and a snapmare by Brie, shoulder by Brie, and a roll-up by Charlotte. Charlotte is doing a good job, I will say, of selling the emotional distress of the bomb that she just had dropped in her lap by her quote-unquote friend Paige. I don't know what that says because my writing sucks. Knee lifts by Charlotte, the way that she does with that cravat into the knee lifts. It's good. Drop kick by Brie. Charlotte eats turnbuckle, and so does Brie. Charlotte eats the steps on the outside. Corner spears by Brie, and she starts working the leg. stomping on the leg, wrapping the leg around the ropes, wrapping the leg around the post, leaving the, doing the old Ric Flair thing, actually, leaving the leg on the rope and doing that whole, like, we all know it looks fake as shit because why don't you just move your leg? But that thing that they do where they put your leg on the rope and they just keep sitting on it, it's good. A dragon screw, a really, really good looking dragon screw by Brie Bella. The funny thing about this, with all the hate that Nikki gets, Brie was getting Nikki's better chance, which made me smile a lot. Brie keeps working the leg with a low dropkick. Charlotte tries a slam. Brie escapes and gets a chop block. More working on the knee. It's all fucking great. Single leg crab by Brie. Not quite the the added bonus of the shin across the head that her sister was doing last night, but it's still very, very good. And Charlotte, being as tall as she is, whenever you bend her into a submission, it looks extra good and it looks extra exaggerated because she's got those long limbs that are easy to grab, I guess, for lack of a better term, for a submission hold. It all looks good. Single leg crab by Brie, enziguri by Charlotte, which flare chops by Charlotte, spear, figure eight, Charlotte gets the win. That whole rant I just did a second ago, again. And here's the thing, alright? Here is the thing, and here's the thing. I want Charlotte to get the credit that she deserves. I love all the digs that Paige took in her promo, but when part of Paige's promo was, you know, you're only here because of your daddy, maybe don't use the figure four that night. Maybe don't use the flare chops that night. Maybe don't come out with woo written across your fucking tits. Just saying. Great match. Like I say, same tragic story as Night of Champions. Great match, bullshit ending. And I don't mean bullshit, and here's the thing, I have to reiterate this one more time. I'm not saying it's a bullshit ending because Charlotte won. I'm not saying it's a bullshit ending because I'm this big Bella mark and that thinks that the Bellas are the best thing ever, because they're not. Bellas are not as good as Charlotte. I will give you that. Bellas are not as good as Becky. They're not as good as Sasha. They're not as good as Paige. They're better than Naomi. They're better than Tamina. But that really doesn't say much. I'm not saying that I want them to be up in the echelon like they were. I'm not even saying that they have to win. I'm not even saying I'm mad that they lost. I'm saying when they've done such a good job telling such, and I'm getting repetitive now because it's so frustrating, but when they've done such a good job telling such a good story, how do you fuck it up the same way twice in 48 hours? Come on. We're this close. This close. And I also think it's kind of cool that Paige's promo that started with the Divas Revolution is dead is going to pump new life into the Divas Revolution. Now, I want to address something else that happened after I was done watching Raw, and I was having some comments and conversations on Facebook. My good buddy Heel Steven made a comment that Paige's promo fell flat because nobody cared about the extra divas that she was mentioning. Nobody cares. In the context of the Revolution, nobody really cares about Natty or Lana or Summer Rae or that sort of thing. See, maybe you guys agree with me, maybe you don't. The fact that she included everybody was what caught my attention about the promo even more. Because really, like, you can have Team Bad on the side there, and Sasha's great, and we all like seeing Sasha, and the rest of them can go to hell. But really, the story has been Team Bella versus Team PCB. The fact that Paige, when she did this promo, broke out of the mold of, I'm going to cut this promo about the Divas division, but I'm really going to aim it at you because you're the one I'm in a fight with right now. Or I'm really going to cut this promo on the Divas Revolution, and I'm going to cut a promo on the three divas in front of me because they're the three that my team is fighting right now. No, she went out and she scraped to all corners of the division and made it an all-encompassing and all-engulfing thing. Nobody was spared. Nobody was left unsinged by the promo, and that in that way, it was a promo on the whole division. AJ Lee's pipe bomb a while ago was great, but it was aimed specifically at the total divas, not the entirety of the divas roster. I think Paige took what AJ did that was fantastic and expanded it just that little bit. You know, Lana's not really relevant. Summer Rae's not really relevant. Natty hasn't been... Okay, I hate to say Natty's not relevant, but she's not because she hasn't been around forever. And... but we're going to go to those outer rims of the of the division and make this an all-encompassing slam. Nobody is safe. And I like it because Paige isn't really face or heel. She tore down faces, she tore down heels. She is going to be the anti-diva that we've all been screaming for. She is going to be the lone wolf that takes this entire division by surprise. Oh yes, and okay, if she's going heel, I'm pretty sure Sasha's staying heel, so seeing the two of them again at a pay-per-view isn't what I'm gonna get. Please, please, WWE, you've got a good thing going here. You did a good thing tonight. You unleashed Paige. You gave her a great promo. You gave her a great thing. It led to a great match with Charlotte and Brie. Give me Paige versus Becky at Hell in the Cell. I don't even care if it's in a Hell in the Cell. I don't even care if there's a title involved. I don't even care if it's a #1 contenders match. Just give me the match. Oh yes. Maybe have Charlotte and Nikki cashes in her rematch and Roddy Raw. Maybe we have 2 Divas matches on a pay-per-view. That could happen as well. But all of this was great, and I really wish they weren't fucking up the end. Because that's the only no-sell. I kind of overstated my point when I said Charlotte was no-selling at Night of Champions. She was selling until the bullshit ending, which is even worse, because she was helping tell the great story. I've lingered on this far too long. You know what I'm not going to linger on? Sheamus and Mark Henry had a match. It was boring. 2 brogue kicks later, and Sheamus is your winner. Paige and Natty backstage. Natty is in fact back. By the way, Paige, I do still work here. Gives her a lecture on doing things properly and understanding how to use your frustration positively. She's basically being afterschoolspecial.com while she's dressed like a dominatrix. That's a bit of a contradiction right there, isn't it? I have a match tonight against Naomi, and let me tell you, Paige, I've been where you are, and the only, like I say, after school special, the only one in your way is you. I wouldn't mind Paige versus Natalya. On a random house show I was at a couple years ago, hashtag WWE Toronto, I saw Paige versus Natty in a pretty long match, and it was good. On the same show, I got to see Jericho versus The Miz, which was fucking good the day before he came back and started Jarrett trolling everybody. New Day and Rusev versus the Dudleys and Ziggler. Let's go through this quickly. Ziggler and Kofi start off. Armbar by Kofi, roll up. Well, my chair did a thing. There we go. Collar and elbow tie up and a headlock by Ziggler, armbar by Kofi, monkey flip by Ziggler, but Ziggler lands it. Devon pounds on Kofi's midsection and a neck breaker off the second rope by Devon as we go to commercial break. Ziggler hits a headlock on Big E and a drop kick. Clothesline by Big E, stomps by Rusev, rotating New Day stomp in the corner. They do this thing because they've had, I love it, because when there's a 3-on-3 match involving the New Day, it's never all 3 of the New Day. It's 2 of the New Day and somebody else with Xavier Woods on the outside. Xavier Woods should be outside the ring for every match, all night, with the trombone and the whole bit. Before any of this actually started, I'm going to skip all over the place here because it's tired in here. There was a table promo where Xavier Woods came out with a Ziploc bag with a piece of table like this, a big piece of wood like this, crying about being put through the table last night by the Dudleys. Talking about how we need to save tables. Big E talking about how we need to build a fence around Dudleyville to save our furniture. And then Xavier Woods pipes in with, they had to pull this out of my backside last night. And I'm like, that's disturbing and definitely not PG, isn't it? And Kofi Kingston piping up and they go, look at Woods, he ain't right. Well, if you've got a 5-inch by 5-inch piece of wood pulled out of your ass last night, you wouldn't be good, would you? But we also get the news delivered to us by the commentators, obviously, that the Dudleys get another shot at the New Day at the Brock Lesnar Madison Square Madison Square Garden, I should say, Highway to Hell tour, Go to Hell. What the hell is it? Stupid fucking sword logo. Brock Lesnar's Go to Hell tour. There we go. What friggin' Heyman say in the promo last night? Eat, sleep, go to hell, repeat. I don't even know, and I've lost my place. So when we came back from commercial break, Ziggler's got a headlock on Big E and a dropkick. Clothesline by Big E, stomps by Rusev. The rotating New Day stomps in the corner, but Rusev kind of sits to the side. They kind of look at him to sort of see if he's going to do the rotating mudhole stomp, but he just kind of sits aside and lets them do their thing. I lost my place again. Big E tosses Kofi in as a double dropkick. Fisherman suplex and a running... I can't read my writing for shit. Guys, seriously, look at my writing. My writing is shit. You think I'm kidding? Look at this garbage. You think I know you guys think I'm exaggerating. My writing really... I can't read my own writing, and I wrote it an hour ago. Let's just think about that one for a second. Rusev hits a fisherman suplex and a running headbutt. It looks like fleed butt. That's why I couldn't read it. Hits a running headbutt, and when he hits an elbow, Xavier Woods on the outside, screaming about the Bulgarian tricep meat, and then goes on a rant on the outside. He has to have a microphone at this point. You never see him with one, but you have to believe he had a microphone somewhere. Going on a big tear. Ziggler's got zippers on his pants. Why does Ziggler have zippers when he's got no pockets? It's good. Kofi rides a headlock and a dropkick. Rusev and Big E sandwich Ziggler in a nasty looking spot. Clothesline and a backdrop by Bubba. Uranagi by Bubba and a big boot to Big E. Dudley's suplex Rusev, or sorry, Dudley's double suplex Rusev. Ziggler hits a what's up. Here's my writing again. See, this is what happens when you're not thinking clear. Ziggler hits a what's up on Ziggler. That's what that says. Oh yeah, Ziggler with the Dudley's help hits a what's up on Rusev. Hitting a what's up on yourself would be like headbutting yourself in the crotch. I mean, the only person I could think of off the top of my head that could do that would be either Marilyn Manson or Preston, but we're not going there. Ziggler super kicks Woods off the apron while he's distracting with the trombone, but Rusev has a super kick for Ziggler of his own, and the New Day and Rusev win. Relatively cleanly for heels. I like it. Naomi versus Natty, which is cool on the one hand because it's the return of Natalya Neidhart to Monday Night Raw, and bad because it reminds us that Naomi is still a thing. Naomi shoves awkwardly to start the match. Natty locks in a headlock and hits a dropkick. Neckbreaker into a leg sweep by Natty, which is a cool little float over type move. Punches by Naomi, because punches are hard. And then a headlock. Naomi rides the turnbuckle like a hooker for reasons. Slap and a roll up by Natty, a messy slam and an even messier leg drop by Naomi. Naomi hits a slingshot atomic drop and then runs... Okay, she does this thing, right? You guys know me. You guys know I try to put shit together when I don't know how to explain shit properly. She hits a slingshot atomic drop, leaving Naomi on her ample posterior, sitting in the center of the ring. Natty comes off the rope, runs up her back, basically stepping on the back of her head, pushing her face into the ground, hits the opposite rope, comes back with a low drop kick to the face. Great little move. Naomi proves that she needs a 3-on-1 advantage to put her fat ass in Natty's face and steal a victory. This is bullshit. And this is bullshit not only because that I don't like Naomi, not only because Naomi was fucking a train wreck in this match, but Natalya Neidhart, A, very respected family, B, she's there at least in some capacity to keep Tyson Kidd in the back of all of our heads, C, she's a fucking fantastic wrestler and should have been part of the Divas Revolution a long time ago, D, this is her return to the ring. Why would you have her lose to a train wreck like Naomi? Big Show versus Cesaro, speaking of train wrecks, is an awkward match that I didn't write any notes for because it didn't matter. Highlight of the match was Big Show, while he was owning Cesaro, looking out into the crowd, into the front row, and saying, "Sit down, fat boy," to one of the guys in the front row. Commentators didn't care about this match either. They spent this entire match talking about Big Show versus Lesnar at Madison Square Garden, and a couple of my own yawns later, Big Show gets the win with, I think, a weapon of mass destruction punch? I don't even know. Or, for that matter, care. Owens and Rusev versus Ryback and Ziggler on SmackDown this Wednesday for me / Thursday for my American friends. Which means, for me, something great. It's the great, long-awaited return of the greatest tag team in history. Zig back! Oh yes. Creepy promo from the Wyatts dedicated to Randy Orton. Basically, Luke Harper saying that Bray Wyatt taught me to learn from my mistakes. Clearly, nobody's taught you to learn from yours. Braun Strowman goes into a really, really weird thing about how when he was a kid, he killed a snake and he skinned it and he drank its blood, so now it's in a better place. And Bray Wyatt, you know, anybody that helps them, they all fall down. It's good. If we're getting a 3-on-3 at the next pay-per-view, that's cool. If this goes into a 1-on-1 between Orton and Wyatt, even better. Cena versus Rollins for the United States Championship. Again. Cheap shot before the bell that I didn't see because I looked away from the screen for just a second, but it must have been something good because it really rings Cena's bell, no pun intended. Neckbreaker by Rollins. Rollins chokes Cena on the ropes. Several one-punch knockdowns by Rollins. My writing is shit, guys. I'm telling you. Several one-punch knockdowns by Rollins. One-punch knockdowns from Rollins to Cena are funny because Rollins is not a small guy. He's a put-together guy. He's a built-up guy. He's an impressive athletic specimen, I guess if you want to put it that way. But next to Cena, he looks like a small guy. So Rollins hitting one-punch knockdowns on Cena will make you smile. Every single time. Clothesline by Cena and a DDT by Rollins takes us into commercial break. Seth stomps on Cena's midsection as we come back from the commercial break, and Rollins rides a backpack sleeper, which looks good. Cena does the typical, run backwards into the turnbuckle to get him off the sleeper. Rollins with a headlock and punches, multiple shoulder tackles by Cena, five knuckle shuffle, and Rollins bails. Pinning reversal sequence is good by both men. Rollins super kick to the gut and then to the face with Cena down. He locks Cena in the STF. Again, something that really makes you smile. Blackout knee by Rollins, face first electric chair drop by Cena. Looks kind of off, which makes it look even more painful. Both men trade punches, and then we go into a sequence. A sequence of finisher attempts, and none of them hit. AA is countered, Pedigree is countered, AA is countered, Pedigree is countered, but Rollins does it right, does it proper with the turnbuckle powerbomb that broke Sting last night. A vertical suplex driver by Rollins. The Phoenix Splash misses, but I appreciate the attempt. STF by Cena. Pendulum kick by Rollins and a frog splash, which gets an Eddie chant, which is fucking amazing. After the frog splash, Cena rolls through into an AA. Cena keeps the US title. I have no problems with this whatsoever. Corporate Kane, with his creepy fucking way too happy smile, says, I expect you to be a good and proper champion. You never know where your challengers are going to come from next. You can't even imagine. And at that point, the lights go out, the pyro goes up, and Demon Kane comes up from the ring, and after a lot of scrambling and a lot of struggling, pulls Seth Rollins down to hell. Now, I want to say something here. No, I'm not looking forward to a Rollins versus Kane match. But I have to say, the creepy bipolar dual personality Kane thing is kind of fun. And something like, the lights go out and somebody gets pulled down into the bowels of the arena through the ring. It's corny as shit. Let's be real. But it's that kind of corny as shit that we like. If there wasn't that kind of corny as shit, something like the Buried Alive match and the Casket match wouldn't exist. So is it corny as shit? Yeah. Do I care? No. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And as far as something that Kane is involved in, at least it's better than Team Hell No. Oh yes, I went there. This was a good Raw. Like I say, friggin' Big Show versus Cesaro. I like Cesaro. But I had to struggle to give a shit about that match. Sheamus versus Mark Henry was nothing. A lot of three-man tags tonight. There's a lot of three-man teams, and I've mentioned this before in videos. Eventually, if that keeps being the trend, WWE is going to have to come up with a six-man championship or something. Because they even did it with the Divas. I mean, right now you've got the Wyatts until Eric Rowan comes back, or not. The Shield, because it's basically going to be Roman, Ambrose, and somebody facing the Wyatts all the time. New Day, Cosmic Wasteland, Team Bad is, I guess, still a three-man team. The Bellas are obviously still a three-man team. Natty's by herself, Paige is by herself, and I guess Charlotte and Becky are still a thing. But it's good. We tied up a lot of loose ends, and we set some interesting things in place going forward. So this was not a bad Raw at all. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
Like me, don't apologize. They can't hold like me.